Okay, my name is Mason Richter, and this is for Socratic Smackdown number 2. Is the class of 26 cooked?
My name is Michael.
My name's Kyle.
My name is Eddie Janet.
Okay, let's start off with a question. One of my questions was, why do the older generations prioritize work over anything and scoff at people who would rather live life than work all the time? Most people don't enjoy their jobs, so why is this such a foreign concept to them?
I think that over time, the idea of having a job has changed. Like if you look like even further back at like when people mainly worked in factories, that was like their life. They had 7 days a week or 6 days a week where they would work like 12-hour shifts. So work was their life, and so progressively over time, it's gotten to the point where it is now, and I think it'll continue to like this like kind of balance will like sort of figure itself out more. But I think that yeah, it's just like the idea of having to work as hard as you can is kind of like not with this generation. If that makes sense.
Adding on to that, I think like for the most part, it's because like back then, people could actually like stay at their jobs, like their particular one job, and actually pay for like housing, food, and like for their family and stuff. But now it's like you're just trying to climb the corporate ladder or trying to find like a different job that will pay better because the situation's like really hard.
I want to add on is that not only because that people solve that job is their life, but also technology development. Like during like 1940 to 1960, there doesn't have a lot of stuff for people to play around. The only place they can go out is like the park, the outside. Not like today we have like game, phone, internet. There's many stuff you can access easily. So they were like the only thing they can do like job, keep working. Also the view of like the reason they work so hard because like they want to have a better life for their baby or their child, but today like people don't want to have a child.
Yeah, they just want to live for
Yeah.
themselves.
I want to add on to what Michael was saying about like the kind of baby boomer generation, like being able to stay at their job. They also didn't have as much of an emphasis on mental health back then. Like it says in the article, Gen Z, however, has redefined the concept, emphasizing clear boundaries to protect their mental health. This wasn't really a concept back when the baby boomers were working or when they were like the main job force. So I think that puts it into perspective because nowadays people will prioritize themselves in getting time away from work rather than working the whole time. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask?
I think a question for that is like, why do you think a lot of Gen Zers nowadays prioritize their mental health or stuff like that?
Do you have anything to say? I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. I just think that there's been more studies recently that actually like study the effects of mental health and what working and overworking can do to people. So I think these studies are really kind of almost scaring people into prioritizing it, which is probably a good thing, right? You don't want people working themselves to death.
Adding on to that, I think Gen Z is a lot more also like accepting. So I think that could also play a role where like you can kind of talk about these things and it's not such like taboo. Like I feel like if you talked about these in like the 80s or something like that, then you kind of be looked at funny, like talking about like, oh, I need time off for like to clear my head, or I need time off for like my mental, like I feel like they kind of like judge you and they probably wouldn't let you have that, So I think it's just society has changed into the way that like I don't know, it's more accepted.
You guys have anything to add on?
I think like the reason like there's so many articles that tell the Gen Z to change is because the old people saw like we are going to cook down. Where he saw the generation of Gen Z like is totally done for it. Like he want to warn other people like the young Gen Z and the next generation to like not going to do what the old Gen Z does. I want to ask a question like if all the Gen Z with those regretting and like in the third article, there's many Gen Z say they regret to like have an internet, something else, or don't have to go out to play with their friend. They regret on this one. If Gen Z read those regretting, will it influence them to change? Why or why not?
I don't know. I think it'll influence them to change, but not really themselves. But I think in future generations, like a lot of these people saying they regret like having this social media and internet as a kid. I think a lot of them will have more strict boundaries for their kids in the future. Like I feel like some are like, oh, I didn't have social media till I was 18, so they might put a similar rule into effect for when they have kids. I don't think you can really adjust or change what already happened to most of these people. You're not going to get those years and that time back, but you can only make it better for the future, you know? You guys have anything?
Well, I a little bit disagree on Mason say like even though they transit with those articles, they regret and they tell their children to not do it, or other transit with those articles, I think they will not have a change on it. Like those people who regret, their family, their teacher must have told them to not do like go to internet or have social media for that long time, but it doesn't change it during that time. And then today they realize they're doing something wrong, they start regret. And the history tells us the lesson of the war is not good. It's just like killing so many people die, but people keep starting the war. They doesn't learn about it.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think Kyle is right. I don't necessarily think that they will stop. I think it's kind of like smoking or like drinking or something. Like it's kind of hard to like, because you're addicted to like the internet when you think about it. Like I feel like we're all addicted to like social media and the internet and like the usage, like constant usage of it. But yeah, like I feel like at the end of the day, it's something hard that you can't really like get rid of, or like it's like something that loops you in. It's like designed to be addictive, you know.
It is addictive, yeah.
So I don't see a way where like we can like kind of change from that. If that makes sense. And then I'd also like to ask a question. Like, do you think like furtherment of AI will like continue to like kind of have this like insane like addiction to it? Like, do you think that like one day we'll be addicted to like AI? If that makes sense.
I think at like some point there's gonna be like so much content where we won't even be like amused by it, and we're like craving for something new, and maybe AI will be there to like, you know, take its step. But I want to like go back to the part where you said like alcohol and that addiction. Do you think like an absolute ban similar to like prohibition back in the day, how do you think that would like, you know, what effects that would cause for people nowadays?
I don't think we could ever have something like prohibition, just because like the internet is like very like backed by the economy when you think about it. There's a lot of businesses which rely on the internet or like social media in order to promote their products.
I'm supposed to go for this.
Yeah, I agree with Eddie what he say. Like Amazon and Microsoft, Apple, those technology companies is really heavy depend on the internet, right? If they broke bankrupt, United States economy will like repeat like 1929, the Great Depression again.
Oh, wait, can I ask you a question? It was about the prohibition, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's already like all these apps are already out there on the internet and on people's phone. And like I don't know if you guys like remember the TikTok ban, right? That happened for a couple months before it came back. Like people were like it would go down, but then it came back up. It didn't stop TikTok. It just would be removed from the app store. So everyone who still had it still had access to it, or they could just buy a VPN, right? It's the same thing. I don't think you can really do a thing like prohibition for social media like you could with alcohol, which is a physical item. When it's in the metaverse, it's really hard to enforce and like police that.
I I also just want to add on, like, look how prohibition like ended. You know, it ended pretty bad. Like with all the gangs like rising up to power. Um, I don't know if it'd be like the same with the internet, but I don't see an outcome which is positive for like the citizens. You know, I think maybe we'd be like less addicted. Maybe, I mean that potentially, but I don't see a real benefit to banning social media. Like I know a couple countries have like it's not a ban, but it's like a limit to the amount of screen time like kids can use. And I think that might be beneficial, but something like a full ban might like I don't see it like planning out very well.
Like what Eddie said, like some people, like some countries have like the limit time for the kids, but I saw some video like the kid use their mother and their dad ID to use it to access for the internet, so they can get the full time on it. Like this doesn't do really a lot of thing on it, the limit, and also like the prohibition of the alcohol, like before. It doesn't do a lot of thing on it because some people still selling alcohol like the bootlegger. So the banning alcohol just make the selling of the alcohol from the store going down to the ground, like they hide it on it. And also it gave the bootlegger more money on it. They gain more wealth because this perhaps is illegal. Any illegal stuff is really worth a lot of money on it.
I mean, yeah, alcohol was like literally. How much of the economy was it back then? It was so much. It was so much of the economy.
People drink all.
Anything to add on?
I think we can move on to the next question.
Over time, why does each generation become less and less social? Like they don't want to go out with their friends, they don't want to talk with others, like they want to just be alone.
I can answer at least part of that. For the less like going out with friends, I think a lot of it is based on finances, and a lot of like stuff is more expensive nowadays. And for example, I think it's the second article, it says financial stress also weighs heavily on Gen Z. Unlike older generations who benefited from more affordable education and housing, Gen Z faces skyrocketing student debt, soaring rents, and stagnant wages. This basically says like our housing is more expensive, our schooling is more expensive, and the wages aren't changing. There's not really much room for growth. So unless you're in a high entry-level position, it's kind of hard to have the money to afford where you live, buying groceries, your student debt, so you need to pay off eventually, and going out every Friday night. Like you spend like $200 once a week on going out. It's like $800 a month. That's not sustainable or affordable for anyone really in this generation.
Yeah, I agree with what Mason say, but also on the add on, like also technology also cause like people don't want to more have less social on here, like the internet. Also the cost of the car and the fuel become less. Like back into like 1970, the fuel cost like so crazy because the first, what's that called, the oil craze caused by the Serbia. The fuel cost like so crazy on that, so nobody want to go outside during that time. But as the time going, the public transportation and the cost of the car, also the access of the park easier, make people have more choice to go outside. However, the technology also cause people to become more lonely because the social media, they don't have to go with other friends. They can just go with their families. Anything to add on?
Adding on to like your question about like more generations over time. Speaking of like workplace communication, like the second article, how do you think Gen Alpha will change like the workplace norm and like how we like talk to our managers or our coworkers and stuff?
Gen Alpha is like the next generation. Yeah. I think dude, honestly, I don't even know what to think. Like, I think they're cooked. Like that's what I think. I just think their social skills aren't fully there. Considering like they everyone like when you think of Gen Alpha, they grew up with the internet way more than I think even we did. Like y'all like you know like, we played outside. You know we had like friends come over, whatever. You know, I feel like Gen Alpha. At least like what I see, like they're always just on something, you know. They're on an iPad, on a phone, on a video game. They're never like interacting with no one. I think their social skills are gonna like. I think it's gonna hinder them. I think our social skills have been hindered by the internet, and so I think that it'll only just further like decline. Yeah. So I think maybe like for jobs, it'll like I don't know, be like less like communication and more like maybe remote, more online. Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that they also are going to be a lot more technologically advanced. Already, we see that in the article it says Gen Z, having grown up with smartphones and instant access to information, expects workplaces to be technologically advanced and often feels frustrated by outdated systems. I think that's going to be them, but with our systems. They've grown up with the internet and everything that's changing with it. If we can't keep up with that, they're going to feel the exact same as how we're feeling right now with these outdated systems already.
Yeah.
Right on.
I have saw like in the supermall on a shopping right, and I saw some kids like 3 years old, 4 years old, they have an iPad with them. Like, and during lunch, I saw them like they playing with their iPad. Like, what the hell for 3 years old and 4 years old? I doesn't have a phone since until 10 years old.
Yeah, I was like, I think 6th grade.
Yeah.
11, 12. Yeah.
Okay, so should we try to find the answer for the? God damn it! Should we try to answer? Is Gen Z cooked?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, don't end it.
Only 17 minutes. I'm going to watch.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.